from the director of the veterinary services of the Ghana Health Service or the Ministry of Food and Agriculture as well, Dr. Boy Kikimoto, because there's been an outbreak of cholera. That's the avian influenza. That's the cholera. The avian influenza. we call it usually bird flu among poultry birds. And according to a test of 6 birds, 5 of them tested positive by the Noguchi Research for the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, and well, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the Ministry of Health, they have activated a technical committee that had already been in place for this very disease, and they're saying that people shouldn't get panicky about the whole situation, but that it will be brought under control. We'll hear from Dr. Boy Kikimoto, and then when we hear from him, we'll try as much as possible also to have some discussion on the subject. Did we take it serious? How serious was it? And how are we going to deal with it? So just watch it.
We are dealing with an avian influenza.
Okay.
We are not sure that it is the H5N1, but every avian influenza, once you suspect that one, you have to go straight away and start doing the interventions. And these are the interventions we are doing. Because we also spread from fowls to humans, the medical team also came to test the human beings here who have participated. So what we have done so far is that we have made sure that all the affected birds are killed. So far, I can say over 23, around 23. Noguchi is a collaborative lab with veterinary services. Veterinary services does not report a disease when Noguchi brings it to us. Even Noguchi has got that, they have not brought that one to us because we don't report according to what Noguchi brings to us. We report to what Italy brings. Noguchi will get in touch with us. But even Noguchi gets in touch with us, we will still have to wait for where our reference laboratory in Italy. Let me tell you, when Noguchi can do, we can also do in a lab. We have also done something when Noguchi has done. But what we do is that we have a reference of this. So that's only that place. Yes, that's the only place that it can confirm.
Dr. Bashiru Boy Kikimoto, and Director of Veterinary Services, and speaking to us on the subject of the avian influenza that has been recorded among 5 birds out of 6 that were tested by the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. Now, I have to ask you, I have to start with you, Adam Mutawakilu. What do you make of this?
Yeah, thank you very much. One thing, Noguchi Memorial Institute is a very reputable organization, and vigilance is #1 in disease outbreak. Your ability to detect it early helps a lot in preventing disaster. And so far, they've proven that vigilance is very high. The ability to come out with information and determine that there is bird flu and giving measures to regulate it is very critical. And I want to thank the Institute and the poultry farmers who quickly detected it and then informed Noguchi to do that. I think the Minister of Health, the Minister of Agric, National Disaster Management Organization are on high alert to ensure that this thing do not get worsened. And so far, the measures they have outlined: 1, frequent visits by other people, maybe from farm to farm, is one of the ways by which it can be transmitted easily. I visit this farm, maybe they are infested, I go to another farm, visit, you can easily. So I'll urge all poultry farmers, the regularity of visit of people to their farms should limit. Constant contact with it can also be transmitted to humans. We shouldn't think that it's for only birds. It can be transmitted to humans, and therefore we need to be very careful as a
well, we are let enough, particularly when now the focus is always on poultry farmers because they have large birds as far as the numbers are concerned. But we have, well, very disposable and also field birds out there in communities, not only regulated, actually not regulated at all.
Yeah, particularly in most of our villages, we have free range. We just manage our livestock and poultry freely. And certainly in the, let me take in the north where we come from, we don't have this kind of organized poultries or organized livestock because of the environment, and secondly because of
what the tradition is.
The input that is required. So we've grown to live in our homes with our chickens, and they go out, feed and come back. That's the lifestyle there. So that has to do with poverty and the environment, because you have about 9 months of dry season, and the sun is hot, and sometimes the heat alone kills even human beings with cerebrospinal meningitis
and things like that.
Yeah. So the animals and other livestock are affected. So, and I think we grew to see, sometimes you see a fowl or a guinea fowl within a second, certain changes, and it dies. And as children, we just have to put them on fire and then do justice to them. And the funny thing, with all that, the humans have never been affected. That's the strange thing.
I've been surprised about that.
God is so.
Because I remember when I was young, my parents also had a home, and we did that a couple of times.
Yes.
But growing up, I think I know more than everybody.
So now that we've grown up, as soon as we see that, then we say, hey, go and bury it, go and do this. But the children today too always transfer it to fire, and within 2 minutes store it in the stomach, and they are alive. Anyway. Nunguchi, I think, as my brother just commended them, because after the fifth one, they've been able to sound what we call early warning. So I think just after fifth one, an early warning comes, I think it's a good step. So I just want to see the connection between Nunguchi and our local level.
That's
just
the Ministry of Health, the extension service providers, the
I know. I think they work together. But I get disturbed when I hear they say a National Technical Committee has been activated. That gives me a different impression to say it has been activated. When I was a minister, around when the N1 and something came, or A1 flew,
H1N1.
Yeah, I was then a regional.
This one is H5N1.
I was then a regional minister, and I remember we chaired a lot of committees on this. The medical teams, we did all these things about it. And so to say that it has been activated, the impression I get is it has been dormant. They have to work every day because we have poultry, we have livestock every day. And so I will call upon the system that these stakeholders have to have a system that is efficiently working every day, not to wait when early warning signal comes before you get up, start sitting committees, drinking tea, eating cakes and all that. They just got to think twice.
Increasing bills.
Yeah, so I think they should.
You wanted to add something?